It is 10 minutes to 8 o'clock. Welcome back to the program. Now, how far would you go to fit in at work? Harold Hillman was a closeted gay man rising up the ranks of the US military at a time when homosexuality was completely banned in the armed forces. He's learnt the hard way the difficulties of being true to yourself and getting ahead at the office at the same time. And he joins me now. Harold, lovely to have you on the couch.
Thank you,
I want to talk about your personal story for a start, because it is just so compelling. And you call it the impostor syndrome. I guess that led to your first book, of course. Being a closeted gay within the army, what was that like? Sorry, within the Air Force. Within the Air Force, yes.
That's right. I was the ultimate imposter. That's why I wrote a book about the imposter syndrome. I had spent most of my adult life impersonating a straight man, and I impersonated a straight officer in the U.S. Air Force for 7 years. So well, in fact, that I was selected to serve on the commission after President Clinton was elected, when he vowed that he would lift the ban on gays being able to serve openly. A special commission was formed, all military, about 45 of us from around the world, and we were selected because we were outstanding officers. And the irony is that had I come out, had I stood up and said I'm gay, I would have been discharged dishonorably right on the spot.
And that's when it all came to a head, isn't it? It was during that time on the commission that they came up with the, ultimately ended up being the don't ask, don't tell policy, didn't it?
That's right. It was clear to me, we were sequestered for 3 months in Washington, D.C., and it was clear that the military brass at the time were going to have no part of the new president's agenda in terms of lifting the ban. So don't ask, don't tell was considered a compromise. We'll call off the witch hunts, but you still can't be openly gay. So many people consider it not really much progress made.
And there would have been colleagues, I think there was an Admiral sitting next to you at one point that said, I have never served with anyone who's gay. Meanwhile, you were sitting next to him.
That's right. There were pro-gay groups, anti-gay groups that came in a consultative process during these 3 months. And a pro-gay group came in and said, look, we have estimates of there being between 10 to 20% of gays in the military already. After they left, the Admiral pounded the table and said, I've never met anyone gay in the military. Those stats are inflated. And there I sat very close to him, and it was I call it my 15 minutes of fame that I wisely decided not to use.
Yes, because you just sat there, didn't you?
I just sat there.
But then it was some months after that you decided, I'm going to come out. This is it. I'm going to be true to myself. Right. And it wasn't just the career, of course, it was going to have an impact on you. You were married with a family. I
was married with a family as well. That whole experience brought me up close and personal with my own a showdown with my soul, with my own integrity. So after that experience, I received a medal. Another one on my uniform to signify how excellent I was. But inside, I was a very hollow man. And that whole experience was the catalyst for me to sit down with my wife, have one of the most difficult conversations I'll ever have, and to start the process of making myself whole. Which was very important to me to be able to give in a way that I felt that I could just be myself. People would appreciate that more. I'm very close with my family, my ex-wife still, 2 lovely daughters. We have a beautiful grandson. So look, on the other side of all of that, I feel very whole as a result.
Well, it's certainly an inspiring story, and I'm sure inspiring for many people watching at home right now. I do have to talk about the book, though, because of course that is why you're here. I just love your personal insights as well. This is your second book, Fitting In, Standing Out.
That's right.
Because you speak and you have a lot of clients, very high-profile clients, business clients. But this is your latest message, because it's a real mix in New Zealand, and not just in New Zealand, isn't it?
That's right.
Of how to stand out and be a leader, but at the same time fit in and sort of into the workplace. How do you create that balance?
Well, there's an inherent tension between the two. I think there's a greater gravitational pull towards fitting in. We make it easy in organizations for people to fit in formal inductions, let's show you the ropes, all of those kinds of things. When it comes to standing out, you have to push against the grain a little bit more. And I think a big difference between the U.S. and New Zealand is that in New Zealand you have to be a bit more mindful that standing out often is interpreted as sort sort of pushing away from the team in that respect, so that you have to put more context around what your motive is, which is, look, I'm standing out in the interest of helping us be a better team as opposed to distancing myself.
So it's standing out for the betterment of everyone as opposed for your personal interest.
That's right.
Well, it's interesting because you talk about both the cultural differences between the States and New Zealand as well. This is the latest book. It's in bookstores now, isn't it? Fitting
Yes,
and Standing Out. And certainly you're well qualified to talk about that. So thank you so much for making time for us, Dr. Harold Hillman.
Appreciate
you coming on.
Appreciate that.
Did you ever go back to the Admiral?
I did not. Everyone is asking me.
I'd love to be there when you do meet him again.
Good on you.
Good on you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.